Morning, children's. Joe Pal Brian. It's the day after Black Friday, Saturday. Fog has just lifted locally. It's around, no matter what this thing says, it's around 8 o'clock.
Telemetry recovered. 12.4 volts.
A little later than that, probably closer to 8:30. The camp is starting to stir. People are getting up and eating breakfast. Me and a friend of mine have to go get gas for his boat. But this is flight number 1. The one guy that was out last night, guy with a ZZ Top beard, his father passed away, and he is his father's only child, and in addition to gifting him his 401k, he gave him this boat. And I have great memories. Actually, look at that pollen. Can you see that? Oh, man. Pollen in Florida, spring and fall. Man, it screws with you. So let's take out Mr. Tundy. I can't see, so we're going to clear off the rudder. Taking off. Yeah, that's something I need to stop doing, and that's taking off the throttle when I go up. Ooh, I gotta be careful. I have screwed myself before and flown into fog. Did that with my T-28, if you'll recall. I'm not proud of that. Sure did.
.6 volts, stabilization on.
Get a little wind across the top. Interesting. See if we have any kind of
25.5 miles per hour.
GPS reading.
140 feet, 11.7 volts.
Yeah, over there. Interesting that the GPS works better over here than it does at home.
11.6 volts.
Probably seeing a lot of fog out there in the distance. Good morning.
How you doing?
Wonderful, and you?
I'm doing great.
11.6 volts.
Needed the fog to lift so I could fly.
Yeah. I haven't flown in years.
Well, technology has changed. They're made out of, they're basically the cousins of a beer cooler now.
Yep.
And they're cheap. That's 200,
Yeah.
220 bucks delivered. Now electronics are a little extra. The camera on the under the wing is $50.
11.5 volts.
The receiver is $36. The telemetry is $16. The flight control board that helps me fly as the wind right about here is knocking me around from the trees. The flight control board was 17 bucks. The radio that I'm holding right now, the next biggest competitor to it is $1,000, but they're about 180 bucks.
Can you do a landing and takeoff?
11.4
I'm sorry?
volts.
Can you land it and take off? I'd love to see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I used to build drones before you could fly drones.
I did too, yeah. In fact, I still have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to toured Africa and Mexico with those and got help out the spotter camps and stuff.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because they have a bad rap, but the reality is they're just like anything else.
I just did it with
11.3
a regular
volts.
airplane, and I fashioned the camera to it and
Sure.
the controls for it while I was flying.
Landing.
There we go.
Flaps full.
Taking off.
Flaps full. Flaps up.
Yeah, it's a V-stall. It's the name of the aircraft is
11.2 volts.
Tundra, and yeah, it has barn door flaps on it that I just quite don't know how to use exactly.
Oh yeah.
I use them for taking off, but for landing,
I've seen you flying brushless lithium.
Yep, that's
Everything's lithium now.
it's lithium polymer. It's 3,000 milliamp, and you can get about 10 minutes if you behave. I have a charger that'll allow me to just fly
11.3
continuously.
volts.
I think that probably the coolest part about it is telemetry and the ability to know exactly how much gas you have left.
Oh yeah.
And
25.6 miles per hour. 103 feet. 11.3 volts.
so if you carry a Google phone or a Android phone, you'll recall that Google was kind enough to make the operating system and give it away, right?
11.3 volts.
That's actually how they're able to stay competitive with the likes of iPhone. Well, a bunch of guys that were developing software for radios got together and made their own called OpenTX, Open Transmitter. So the guys that made the hardware, which is what I'm holding now, were able to easily beat the competitors in
11.
not only pricing, but we're the only ones out there with cheap telemetry and just a bulletproof style connection to the aircraft. So $32 diversity transmitters is just actually the cheapest one is $24.
Back in the 80s, I was building electric powered remote control airplanes.
Sure. Oh, I guess you were using brushed motors, right?
Brush motors and nickel cadmium.
Yeah, man.
Not even nickel metal hydride was out.
Yeah. So what's cool is my wife and I are going to be hitting the road here about 8 months out of the year pretty soon, and even though this 1100 millimeter aircraft is nice, they make things called ultra micros around.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Some are around 500 millimeter, and I have a B-17 and a bunch of other ones, about a dozen, and there's a lot of room for them, but not so much room for these even when you break them down. And what they have on board is flight control boards that are just, they simulate the mass of this. They're so good at it. So you can fly these light little airplanes that are only a couple 100 grams, but they behave like this one does. You can see that wind is knocking me around at 75 feet. The wind is coming from the north over the top of the trees, and as it rolls into the water, it starts knocking the fool out of me. It's funny because at 53 there's a number of things I'm never going to do. I'm never going to be perfect at this, never, and that's actually what keeps me at it. Because when I become perfect at something, I become bored.
Find something else to do.
Yeah, like fishing and hunting. I don't want to offend anyone, but the bottom line is deer are stupid and so are fish, and it's not that hard to fish or hunt. And
You seem to outsmart me.
yeah, I'm a wildlife officer. I've been regulating hunters and been hunting myself for 30 years, or been hunting for 40. But this, much like golf, I'll never be great at. I also have to realize that I have 53-year-old eyes and reflexes, and you're not going to see me with an F-18. Those are for the kids.
I had a,
11
you know what a hotliner is?
Yep.
I assume.
Yep.
I had a little one, and it had the little tiny brushed motor.
Sure.
This motor in my pinky, it turned about 20,000 RPM.
Yeah.
And that actually, after flying it, my hands would be shaking.
Well, you talked about building drones initially. So what I did was I started out late in life, like most of the guys. I didn't have any money when I was young, and you got kids, you got no money. So in 07, I started out, I liked helicopters.
11
So I started out with helicopters, and I'd find that after I was done successfully bringing it down, that I had actually sweated in my shoes.
Yes.
And I says,
Flying
yeah.
on the simulator.
I says, well, and here's the problem with the sims. They're